Carlos Dunlap out here with the scoop. Max, are you buying Wilson's commitment to the Seahawks?
Hell no. Hell no. If I'm buying that he told Carlos Dunlap that, if Dunlap says he said it, I believe him. I believe Russell Wilson's probably beating teammates in the head with all kinds of stuff since he threw them under the bus, especially the offensive line. Look, love Russell Wilson, big Russell Wilson fan, but you got to call it like it is. If you are committed to a team, is your agent releasing on the record the names of 4 teams you would accept the trade to?
Nope. On
the record? This wasn't leaked to the press. This was Russell Wilson's official representative on the record saying this team, this team, this team, and this team. We go there. Of course, he prefaces it with, I'm not asking for a trade. Stop it. Stop it. Saints, Cowboys, Raiders, Bears. You know what that means? That means he sat down with his agent, probably his wife, I would imagine, family decision, right? And went over everything carefully, rosters, cities, this, that, the other, power in the organization, what it means for legacy, all these kind of things, business interests, competitive interests, and narrowed it down to 4 teams. There are 32 teams. They went over this team, no, that has a quarterback, and released it to the press. And now he's telling teammates, what is he supposed to say? He wasn't accommodated, right? The Bears tried. Couldn't put together a package good enough. So he's there for right now. What are you supposed to tell your teammates? And Stephen A., I'm not even talking about the defensive players, who we also kind of threw under the bus, right? The defense isn't good enough, basically. The offensive line. Do you know the kind of conversations Russell Wilson has had to have since then with his teammates? I don't doubt his teammates that he's saying certain things then that are leading them to believe that. But Stephen A., if they could work out a trade to one of those 4 teams, you mean to tell me I'm supposed to believe he wouldn't okay it today? Then why release the names?
Well, I don't think they're going to be able to work it out. That's number one. That's one of the biggest reasons I think Russell Wilson may have said what he said to Carlos Dunlap, number one. Number two, I think that it's entirely plausible that Russell Wilson's going to end up staying in Seattle because he's one of the gifted quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a future Hall of Famer, in case no one, we never really bring that up. He's a future Hall of Famer. The brother can play. 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions last year, completed better than 68% of his passes. Max Kellerman, do you know that Russell Wilson was sacked 47 times last year? Do you know that over the last 3 years, he's been sacked 51, 48, and 47 times? Do you know that in his 9-year career, he's been sacked 394 times? Do you know that with the exception of his rookie year, he has never been sacked less than 41 times in a season? And that doesn't count the hits. And so when we take that into consideration, he got tired of being beat up, and he called out the team because Pete Carroll clearly wasn't doing so. Pete Carroll wanted him to be that savior. Look, I got rid of the Legion of Boom. We've handed the franchise to you. You've gotten everything you wanted. That was Pete Carroll's mentality. And Russell Wilson's like, hell no, it ain't that simple. Because guess what? I still need to be protected before I do what I do. I can't be smothered and swamped and beat up all the damn time. He's got these trunks for legs, Max. He's short. He's not small. People who think Russell Wilson is small, you're not paying attention, or you need to get your eyes checked, okay? Because this dude right here,
Diesel, for sure. Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude. And so when I look at him and I listen to what he says, guess who else was listening to what he said, Max Kellerman? It had to be Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll had to listen to this man. Pete Carroll is not a dummy. Pete Carroll won a national championship at USC. Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl championship in Seattle. He's been to 2 Super Bowls as a head coach. The man knows what he's doing. Over the last 3 years, 10, 11, and 12 wins. They've been moving up and up and up, even though they only won 1 playoff game in that sequence. Bottom line is this. Pete Carroll is no dummy. And Pete Carroll heard Russell Wilson do something Russell Wilson has never done, which is call him out. And basically said, look, I'm out of here if you're going to continue to act this way. I have no doubt that in the time span that Russell Wilson spoke and we talked about what his future prospects might be, Pete Carroll met up with him, probably apologized, is listening to him more, swears he is anyway, and as a result, that's what led to Russell Wilson saying to Carlos Dunlap, yo, I'm not going anywhere. Let's go Hawks. Because the coach is finally listening to his star quarterback and treating him with the respect and deference he deserves.
Let me say that Russell Wilson was handed the keys. They did get rid of the Legion of Boom, and that was smart because defensive players age out of their prime faster than quarterbacks. And so they made a commitment to the quarterback and paid him an enormous percentage of the cap back then. That means you have to play hero sometimes. Like, you got to carry more of the load, right? That's why I criticized Carson Wentz. You got paid like that. Now, oh, you have problems? Carry. You know, that's why you're getting paid like a franchise quarterback. And Russell Wilson has. One of the mistakes the team made was they felt like they could draft and get guys off practice squads or whatever, offensive linemen, and coach them up. And that was a mistake because the whole thing on the offensive line started falling apart when they traded Max Unger, right? There goes Jimmy Graham, a tight end who's really more like a receiver. We'll get him a big target. And the offensive line kind of fell apart at that point. But Stephen A., they did a better job recently of devoting more resources to the line. And to my eye, it looks like the offensive line has played better, and you could see the returns in the run game.
Well, they played better, Max.
And so part of Russell Wilson's problem, as he acknowledged, part of his problem is that he holds the ball. Like when he says, let Russ cook, he holds the ball. There's an upside and a downside to that.
Well, again, you got to have the personnel that can get open, and we're certainly not accusing DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett of not being able to get open, but there's more to it than that. And if you ultimately had a scheme, and that scheme was compromised because your offensive line isn't that good, that's a problem. Now, the offensive line has improved, but it was still ranked in the bottom half by Pro Football Focus. Let's remember that. And so because of that, that just shows you how bad it was. We're pointing to the improvement, but we can't point to the improvement while negating the fact that while improved, you still ranked in the bottom half, which shows you how bad it was for them.
Yeah, they weren't great. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.